Welcome to the Psychic Pinup Podcast, the anything and everything spiritual podcast where we dive into hot topics, readings, viewer questions, and more. Thank you for tuning in. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive right into it.
Welcome back to the Anything and Everything Spiritual Podcast. I am your host, Linda, also known as the Psychic Pinup. Today, I would like to speak to you something that we rarely speak openly about as psychic mediums. That is the loneliness and frustration that can come with this line of work, because people often forget that us psychic mediums are human beings also. There seems to be this assumption that because this is what we do professionally, we must want to do it 24/7. And if we are at a dinner, a party, a social gathering, or simply trying to enjoy ourselves, that we are automatically available for free readings, free advice, free predictions, maybe even a party trick thrown in there as well, or to get you to connect to their loved ones in spirit. And honestly, it becomes absolutely exhausting. I know so many mediums who isolate themselves socially because social environments stop feeling social, and it actually starts to feel like work, me included. And that's what I want to talk to you today about. I think people outside the industry really do not realise how common this is. You walk into a social setting wanting to relax, laugh, have conversations, nothing to do with spiritual work. You want to enjoy yourself like anybody else, but within minutes, someone says, "Can you pick anything up around me? My grandmother just passed away. Do you see her? When am I going to meet my soulmate? Can you quickly tell me if my relationship will work out? Do you think I should leave my job?" And people often laugh when they say it. They actually think that they're being harmless. But imagine going to a barbecue and every single person expecting you to work for free. Because that is what it is. Work. This is our profession. This is my profession. And the truth is, most mediums do not want to switch into work mode while standing in a social environment, trying to eat dinner, or when they're having a normal conversation. We are there to socialise, not to perform. And this is where it's going to bring me to that phrase that I hear quite regularly when I am in a social environment. The just one quick question. I think one of the biggest issues is people believing it is just one quick question. But it's never just one question. Because once one person starts, suddenly another person joins in. And then another. And then another. And before you know it, the entire night becomes people wanting insight, predictions, reassurance, or spirit connections. People forget there's mental energy involved. Concentration is involved. Responsibility is involved. And honestly, sometimes we simply do not want to talk about spirit. That is why I go to a social gathering. Sometimes we just want to talk nonsense with friends, laugh, switch off, and be normal human beings. Because that is what we are. We are human beings. But there's often this expectation that psychic mediums are permanently switched on. And that expectation becomes incredibly draining over time. Trust me, it really does. And it will lead me into the next thing that I would like to talk to you about. And that is people wanting something for nothing. I'm just going to say something honestly here that I know that many mediums will relate to. A lot of people want something for nothing. That can become really frustrating. People would never walk into a hairdresser's social event and expect a free haircut, would they? Well, maybe some would. But generally, no, you wouldn't expect a free haircut if you went to a hairdresser's event. Nor would you expect a mechanic to help you with work on your car if you had a mechanic at a barbecue. But people constantly expect psychic mediums to work for free in social environments. It is true. It is real. I find there seems to be very little awareness that maybe we do not want to spend every social interaction discussing death, grief, relationships, cheating partners, or life's problems. Sometimes we simply just want to enjoy our coffee in peace. And I think another lonely part of this work is feeling like when people become more interested in what you can give them rather than who you actually are. I've noticed that sometimes people stop seeing you as a person and start seeing you as access to answers, access to reassurance, access to spirit, access to comfort. After a while, you start questioning whether people genuinely want connection with you or whether they just want something from you. And that can become emotionally exhausting. Because this is the thing, mediums are not machines. We are not public property just because of the work that we do. And then it puts me in this position of where there's this pressure to be polite. I do think that many mediums struggle because there is a pressure to be polite. We don't want to offend people. We do not want to seem rude. So what happens here, many mediums smile awkwardly, give little bits of information, laugh it off, and tolerate it even when internally they are exhausted. But the truth is, boundaries matter. And I think more mediums are beginning to speak openly about this now because burnout in this industry is real, and it's not because of spirit. It's because of people's expectations. This is where I want people to really understand. Psychic mediums deserve normal social interactions too. We deserve to have conversations that are not about readings. We deserve nights out where nobody asks us about their love life. We deserve friendships where people are interested in us as human beings, not as a psychic medium. We deserve to laugh, relax, vent, switch off, and exist without constantly being expected to prove insight. And honestly, the more I do this work, I can understand now why many mediums isolate themselves. And it's not because they hate people. It's because it becomes easier than constantly having your brain picked every single time you leave the house. I find myself being socially awkward in a social setting now. I struggle when I meet people. They ask me, "What do you do for work? What do you do for a living?" I struggle with that. I avoid telling people what I do. Because the second people hear psychic medium, I've noticed that the dynamic changes. Suddenly, people that I have just met become intensely personal. Not everybody, but a lot of people. I won't put everybody in that same category. But people can become intensely personal. Suddenly, they want answers. Suddenly, there are some that just simply want to test you, or trauma dump, or ask if they're going to find love, or if their partner is cheating on them. And it really becomes tiring, especially when you're just trying to exist as a person outside of work. I think many mediums crave friendships where spirituality is not the centre of every conversation, where they can just be themselves without expectation. I think that this conversation this week is an important conversation because many mediums actually feel guilty for setting boundaries. I think that this is where we need to educate ourselves that boundaries are healthy, and to understand that when I say I'm not working right now, it's not rude. Maybe I need to reword that phrase and put it back on to the person by saying something along the lines of, "I'd love for you to book a reading." And honestly, respecting somebody's profession should be common courtesy. People often forget that mediums spend hours every week already giving themselves to clients emotionally and mentally. I do that every week, and I go above and beyond by also doing a live feed on social media for 1 hour every week, giving my time to others who cannot get to me or who do not have access to me for free mini readings. Social settings should not automatically become unpaid extension hours. That is what it is becoming. Unpaid work when I go out. So a little message to my listeners out there. And I want to say this lovingly to my beautiful listeners. Most psychic mediums really care about people. That is why many of us do this work in the first place. But please remember that we are human too. We have lives, families, stress, bills, exhaustion, good days, bad days, just like each and every one of you. We have our own things going on at the same time. And social environments are often the only chance we get to switch off from work mentally. If you just happen to meet a psychic medium socially, try talking to them like a normal person first. Ask them about their hobbies, their life, their interests. Not every interaction needs to become a reading. I really wanted to speak honestly about this today because I know so many mediums quietly experience this, yet rarely say it publicly. And I think conversations like this are important because boundaries do not make somebody cold. It makes people healthy. And if this episode resonated with you, and I don't mean by having interactions with psychic mediums, I'm talking about healthy boundaries with others, I'd love for you to share it to your socials and tag me. And if you are a psychic medium listening to this, feeling understood right now, trust me, you are definitely not alone. Until next time, protect your peace, honour your boundaries, and remember, you are allowed to simply be human. Bye for now.
You have been listening to Linda, the Psychic Pinup. Linda is a psychic medium based on the New South Wales south coast of Australia. You can connect with her via her website, thepsychicpinup.com.au, or join her on her weekly live feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all under the same name, The Psychic Pinup. Thanks for listening.